Hello and welcome to Planeswalker Plus. I'm your host, Alice Clark, and with me today is Elias.
How's it going, guys?
So today our challenge is to build a competitive Modern deck from Modern Masters. Isn't it pretty? Now, first of all, what is Modern Masters?
Modern Masters is a Masters draft set that Wizards releases every year.
Yep.
It's made from a bunch of older cards rather than what's currently in Standard. It's got a much higher power level than our normal Standard sets.
Well, that's good.
Definitely. And it also provides a unique drafting experience that you would not normally have gotten out of the sets that Wizards releases.
So because it's kind of made out of all different sets, is it harder to find consistency and a consistent theme in one box?
I definitely think that that's going to be one of the hurdles that I face in building a deck, but I am looking forward to the challenge.
Good, good. Great, well let's get to it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
Okay, so I've got a lot of cards in front of me at the moment, but there is a method to my madness. There is a lot of really cheap blue spells,
Yep.
and I've got this cool little
Blue
card here.
is very cheap.
Yes, I've got this cool card here called Goblin Electromancer who makes instants and sorceries cheaper. Now, one of the problems of these draft cards is that they're going to be nowhere near as good as the cards that I'm playing against, so any way to make them more efficient is something that I'm all aboard.
Good.
The other option that I'm looking about
Yep.
is flooding the board with tokens and then just swinging for the rafters every turn.
Well, that sounds like an amazing strategy, and is certainly better than blue.
Yeah, and then I can just throw fire at people's face until the end of the game.
That's just fun. Who doesn't want to throw fire at people?
I guess we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah. Now, because this set is kind of set up for drafting, do you think they've gone more for cards that draft well rather than that play well in a deck?
So at the common and uncommon levels, there is an amazing variety of draft formats. Like, I've had a chance to draft it once, and it was probably one of the best drafts that I've ever done. On the other side, though, they have balanced that with some of the best reprints that we have seen from a Master set to date. So they have managed to balance this set perfectly, and some people are touting it as the best set of all time.
Really? Are you one of those people?
Look, I think it's a bit too early to tell for me at the moment, but I am really enjoying it.
Is getting kind of participating in a draft or getting a box an easy and cheaper way to get into the very, very expensive Modern format?
I would like to think so, and I guess this is one of those experiments that will give us a kind of idea as to whether or not it is possible. But with everything that they've provided in this set, I think that it would give you a very good basis.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay, so I've now checked out everything we had in the box to play with, which, by the way, if you want to see everything we had to use, you can check out our YouTube channel. But Elias, what did you find?
Okay, so what I've put together at the moment is kind of like the shell of a blue-red tempo deck. We've got some of the fetch lands from the box, which means that we might be able to actually splash a third color in black.
Okay, good.
We're missing a little bit in the way of cheap offensive creatures that might be able to get the board early. But apart from that, I'm liking the way this is turning out.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, to kind of plug some holes, you're going to a standard pool rather than grabbing some other Modern cards. Why, for the purposes of this, are you going for standard rather than just your... I assume you have a fairly good card collection by now.
Okay, so Modern is the first non-rotating format, which means the end point doesn't change and more cards only ever come into the format. It's seen as a natural progression for players after they have accumulated a pretty substantial standard collection that want to use their cards after those cards leave the format.
Useful.
So what I'm trying to do here is experiment with the idea of standard cards in the Modern format and how well they're going to do.
Well, that sounds good. Now, what kind of holes do you think you need to plug?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, we want
Yep.
some nice cheap creatures that are
Yep.
going to get in early, that work well with spells, and that can really get in for some damage that will allow me to finish off later with burn.
Yep.
The other thing that I'm kind of looking for is maybe some of the standard lands. Lands always play a really integral part to your deck because they essentially are what allow you to cast your spells.
Mana is life.
So if I can get some of the standard lands
Yeah.
and make them work with some of the lands that I cracked out of the Modern Masters box, I think we really can get the stew going here.
Sounds great. Let's do it. Okay, so how was your building experience now that you're done?
Okay, so overall, the deck actually came together pretty nicely.
Nice.
Yeah,
You
we
sound
were
surprised.
a little bit, but we were able to fill in the cheaper basic threats with the Storm Chaser Mage and the
Yeah.
Thermo Alchemist. We have actually pretty reasonable mana
Good.
in terms of the standard fast lands and some of the fetchable dual lands that they have. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this goes.
Now, kind of what sort of balance did you get out of the box and what did you take from the trade folders?
So I actually got the majority out of the box. There's only
Nice.
roughly 8 or 9 cards in the main deck that didn't come out of the box, and
That's
from the lands,
impressive.
yeah, from the lands, while the majority may have come from standard, they're all reasonably cheap and easy to obtain.
Okay. Now, how do you think it's going to compare to the decks you're going to meet at Friday Night Magic?
I don't think that I'm going to be able to win consistently,
Yeah.
but I think I'll be able to pull out a win.
That's good. That's good. So, Elias, are you mentally and I suppose emotionally prepared for what's about to happen?
Look, I've got high hopes
Yeah.
and a couple of prayers in the bank.
Good, always wise.
Hopefully we can squeeze out a win tonight.
Okay, so what do you think your deck is going to do well at, if anything?
I'm hoping to get a quick start. Quick
Yeah.
off the blocks, maybe try to overwhelm an opponent.
Yeah, I love your optimism. And what are you worried about?
I'm worried about the deck folding in on itself and collapsing miserably.
That seems like a valid fear.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Okay, let's go play.
Let's go. So we've just finished round 1, and I was mercilessly stomped into the ground. My opponent tore my hand apart and then proceeded to beat me with black, green, and white creatures. I was, however, able to take game 2, so I am optimistic for the next round. Okay, so we've just finished round 2, and once again, I was mercilessly stomped into the ground by my opponent. She was playing a green-red zoo deck with a lot of really small creatures that beat me to death really quickly. Again, I was able to take one of the games off my opponent, but we will go into round 3 ever optimistic.
gotta go, buddy.
Okay, so the last round was tough. I
Yeah.
played against
Just the last round?
The night's been tough, but the last round especially, I played against a red-white control deck, who I almost managed to beat. I took a game off and I had him dead to rights in the last game, but couldn't close it out.
So how did it work for you? How did the deck behave, perform, crush you, and your hopes and dreams?
Look, overall, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The deck played well, it was a lot of fun, but I think that one of the things that was missing because of the challenge was a bit of inconsistency, because you only get very limited numbers of each card. Yeah, I think overall you're probably better spending your money on single cards.
Okay. Well, at least you've now learned this valuable lesson in a very public way.
Yeah, I mean, the best humiliation is public, unfortunately.
And speaking of that, I'm killing you now with these two. Cool. Well, thanks for being a good sport.